Hey, welcome back to another episode from Life for Living Well. My name is Richard. Before I dive into the topic that I have for us this morning, I'd like to say if you'd like to know one or two things about Life for Living Well, please check it out on our community website at www.lifeforlivingwell.com. And if you like to get a weekly article every time we publish or push an article out, please enter your email on the website at sign me up, and then you'll be one of the listing weekly article that we push out. And if you like to contribute to this community, whether your ideas, whether you want to make some feedback in any of the article, please feel free to do so on the website. Let's dive into the topic without taking much of your time. So the message this week, the topic is what I call character is fate. As we normally do, we will take one individual and we use their view, their observation, their quote around the particular subject, and then we will now be the people that build upon expatiate on it based on our perspective, based on our view, based on our observation. So, according to William Shakespeare, it is not in the stars to hold our destiny, but in ourselves. That's so powerful and that's so deep. And talking a lot about personal responsibility. So let me repeat once again. It is not in the stars to hold our destiny, but in ourselves. So you can imagine how the society puts so much faith in horoscope, in supernatural things in the times of Shakespeare, and we still do that today. We have a desire to know what the future will hold for us. We have a desire to know whether we'll be successful. We have a desire to know whether the project or the business or the relationship we're going to embark on is going to be successful. Our desire, so there are so many tools out there that say that you can determine or you can speak about what the fate, what the life are for us. But Shakespeare said, after observing all those things, and he concluded that is the character that determines your fate, that your fate is not written in the stars. So have you ever stopped to wonder why we rarely talk about character when discussing destiny? So centuries ago, Shakespeare observed human behavior with startling accuracy. His words still ring true today. You still see many people believe in so many different things that propagate desire to know what the future holds for them. So his words still ring true today. Yet in modern conversations, we often prefer to blame fate for how life turned out. Bad relationships, we blame fate. Missed opportunity, we blame fate. Unfortunate life experiences, we blame fate. So we blame fate for choosing the wrong romantic partners, landing in toxic environment, and repeating painful cycles. There seems to be no limit to what we attribute to bad luck. But when you look closely, really closely, you begin to see something else at play. So what is that? So what if things could have turned out differently? What if fate wasn't the culprit at all? This is the question that we should ask when we meet or ourselves and ourselves in this situation like this. What if character is fate? What do we mean by a character? I once have an acquaintance that conversed with me that after our marriage broke down, and many years later, all the series of relationship, she had some aha moment where she realized that if you put 10 men in the room and 9 men are good for her, the one that is so bad for her is the one that she will choose. And I experienced it with her for 2 of our relationship. And I come to conclusion that desire to fast track things and meeting people that are similar to her is actually leading her to a lot of problem. Or looking for someone that so unknown, living to the edge of the society, and that trigger a rebellious side to overcome, to tame, to change, and then they end up changing now. So, a simple dictionary definition describes character as the mental and moral qualities distinctive to an individual. So, when you ask a question, what do we mean by character? If you just even do a simple Google search, you'll be so surprised that the simple definition that pop up in quote is the mental and moral quality that is so distinctive to an individual. If you put 2 people together, they will have 1 or 2 things that make them so unique to each other. Parents that have more than 1 children, they can tell you the character of their children. The one that is so patient, the one that is impatient, the one that takes time to forgive, the one that ready to forgive. So, in other words, character is how we think, respond, choose, and behave, especially when no one is watching. So, when you take the time to understand someone's character, you begin to understand their patterns. And if you wanted to know someone quickly, take time to understand their character. You can pretty predict most actions that they will take or how they will react in the times of conflict. I normally do something I call litmus test to new people that I meet, even existing people in my life, is to say no when people request something from you. Some that are work on themselves, we actually handle it in a healthy way. Some that are not aware of who they are not working on themselves, they have a full sense of entitlement, they will turn it into the massive issues and they might even cut you off. They might not want to talk to you again. They might see you as a bad person. They might badmouth you to everyone that they come across with. And patterns over time create outcomes. So, one of the biggest barriers to meaningful connection is projection. We often fall in love with who we think someone is, not what they actually is, not who they actually are. The disappointment that follows usually isn't betrayal, it is unmet expectations. We all, at one point in our journey of life, don't seem like that. We think because we are kind, they have to be kind. We think because our heart is pure to them, so their heart is pure to us. So, where relationship break down. So let's quickly examine that because of the time. Family conflict and relationship breakdowns often stem from character mismatches rather than singular events. Someone insists on being brutally honest without regard for how their words land. Another responds with withdrawing completely, choosing silence and distance over communication. Ghosting, why common, is simply another unhealthy expression of unresolved frustration. Rarely do couples pause to observe each other's character, how each person handles stress, conflict, vulnerability, and accountability. Instead, they argue over the same issues repeatedly until exhaustion replaces hope. I hope this message touched someone. And if you are currently in this situation, I encourage you to be patient, to examine your own character, to examine your partner character, and find a way you can be in the middle, both of you. Our character is shaped. What is it that shapes our character? Character doesn't appear out of nowhere. If you see the baby, after 3 months, they started showing you some attributes of themselves. Some of them might be something you're familiar with. Maybe you share it as well. Most of it will be totally different from you. And each year, each month, each day, these things are solidified. It starts micro tiny, and at one point they get toddler, they become teenager, and it becomes something more visible, not just only to the family, but to the outside world. How character is shaped. Character doesn't appear out of nowhere. It is shaped by where we are born, the environment we grow up in, the experiences we endure, and the belief we internalize. A Pan-Africanist once said, "No one is born a criminal. Society makes them one." The same ideas applies to character. We are not born fully formed. Life molds us. But here is the part we often forget. Character is not static. And I want you to remember that. I've met adults that they said this is who they are, they cannot change it. But they cry about what they do not want to change, how it's affecting them in all the aspects of their life. They were so sad and depressed about it. Is leaving your comfort zone. Tolerate the pain for a few months and come out of it stronger. So choosing character over faith. When we surrender completely to our character, it will determine our fate. So when we become aware of our character, our strengths, weaknesses, triggers, and patterns, we gain power. Yet many of us live unaware of this power. We interpret failure as proof of inadequacy instead of feedback for growth. For example, if I fail, it must mean I'm not good enough. That belief is a lie. Failure doesn't define you. How you respond to it does. Your character determines whether you grow bitter or better, stagnant or resilient. Finally, as I'm bringing this message towards the end, I want you to know that you are not at the mercy of the stars. You are shaped by the choices you make daily. How you treat others, how you face adversity, and how willing you are to evolve. These are the things I'm not seeing in the people that blame and put every outcome in their life on fate. Someone said, being angry is who they are. They cannot control it. They cannot change it. They cannot manage it. It manages them. So your character is not just part of yourself. Your character is your fate. I hope this message helps someone. Until we meet again, please stay safe and have a wonderful week. Ciao.